Hi everyone, welcome. I'm down here in my wormery and I want to check in on a couple experimental worm bins where I'm composting twine rope and cotton fabric. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, where is that happening? I tune in every week and I watch all the time and I don't remember any systems like that. Well, let me refresh your memory. We've got the set it and forget it buckets. Remember those? I'm not surprised. It's been 55 days since the last time we checked in. And on that occasion, our reason for checking in was because it had been now 100 days since they were last fed. In this case, 55 days since they were last fed and checked in on. My reason for checking in today is because the older of the two systems, in bin number 1, or bucket number 1, is now 200 days in service, with the younger bin only 5 days behind, 195 days in service, but I figured, you know what? Let's bring them out, check in on them quickly, very unintrusive check-in, and I've got some yummy watermelon for them. So let's get to a very brief, just wellness check and a quick little treat, just a little snack for them to celebrate day 200 in the older system. So let's get them up on the bench and let's get to work. You could see I was not skimpy on the food. That's a good bit of melon, and with it, it's bringing a good bit of moisture, that's for sure. And I'm not worried about moisture in these systems whatsoever. I know that the plastic we're covering with is going to keep the moisture in, and I would almost say it's done too good a job. It looks like I'm peering down into a bucket full of mud or something. What do we have here? I mean, I do remember seeing standing water underneath the twine when we probed down deep into that system. I also remember when we probed down into the cotton fabric system, we ended up pulling up handfuls of really beautiful freshly deposited castings. So I'm going to keep to the promise of quick, unintrusive, but I do want to just take a quick probe through the material. And how do you like that? Same as what I remembered. Standing water at the bottom. I wonder if perhaps replacing the plastic in the case of this system here a little loosely to allow for some evaporation to occur, perhaps that would not be a bad idea. So it was not my intention to really do anything quite as disruptive as what I just did there by actually upturning and bothering what's going on over there. I want the whole set it and forget it kind of experience to be pure without me messing with stuff. But I'm also very curious about this very top layer of material, all these castings that are just, the stuff that was resting out here on top, getting very damp just from the moisture recirculating within the system beneath the plastic cover. But there's still plenty of twine for them to work on down there. And if you ask me, we're probably talking about a bunch of really content worms down here in the twine. Alright, way more intrusive than I intended for this. Let's just really quickly probe down into the fabric, the cotton system here too. Last time I remember pulling out handfuls of material that the worms had deposited in here. Here too, I'm feeling a good bit of moisture down low, although, yeah, I do see standing water. Last time I think we tried to do that, I tried to get a glance down low into the system and see if I could see any standing water, and I couldn't see any. But now I did, so both systems do have standing water in them, and here's some of that vermicompost that's starting to form here and there in the little pockets. Certain places, I wonder why it's plentiful in some places and not so much in other places. But here again, I've upturned material and pulled out wads of vermicompost when I found some. So very disruptive, definitely more than I intended. I'm thinking what we should do is just give them their very juicy meal. It's going to add even more moisture. And as far as the plastic coverings, I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to have to brainstorm that for the next 30 seconds until it comes time to cover up. As far as the food goes, I think last time I sort of dug a trench and submerged the melon over here in the twine system, in the fabric system. In the twine system, we just sort of managed to blend it in with the material as well there too. I forget how we made it sort of vanish out of view. Here I'm thinking, do we need to bother making it vanish out of view, or can we just leave it out here on the surface? And my suspicion is that we could just leave it out here on the surface, so that's what I'm going to do. So let's get this little worm that I just found on my glove back down into the system, and man, oh man, there is some real mud going on here. I'm even wondering if replacing the top coverings with plastic, replacing the plastic top coverings with perhaps paper might be more suitable at this point to really let the system start evaporating and kicking off some of their moisture content. I think at very least I'm going to put the plastic back on for now very loosely. And oh boy, let's see if I can get these two little guys back in the system. They must have crawled off this plastic, and we wouldn't want to see them get in trouble out there on the dry tablecloth. So yeah, I think this is going to be our check-in. I might just do a quick intermediate check-in, might not even do it on video, just to see how things are with regards to the covers here. Maybe I'll come back in with something that I know is going to allow for a little bit more breathability and drying, because moisture is certainly in excess in both systems, and we just sort of made the matter worse with the type of food we added. I'm not going to panic or react. I'm going to assume we're going to be okay. I'm also going to assume that that high degree of moisture is in fact needed to help break down both materials that we're trying to compost here. We're not so interested in seeing the composting of the watermelon. What we're really interested in seeing the composting of is the twine and the cotton. So I got a few things to take care of getting cleaned up and put away, but that's it for the check-in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.